The night was quiet. The quiet that makes you feel like the only person left in the world. No wind, no animals, just the hum of distant insects and the occasional rustling of dry grass. I sat on the edge of the bench, my legs pulled up, a book balanced in my lap. The pages were worn, the edges soft from being turned over and over again. Wendigo. A spirit of hunger. A creature cursed to consume endlessly but never be full. I understood that feeling. The pages held no answers, though. I read them 100 times, hoping to find something new that would make sense of what I was. Headlights cut through the darkness. I didn't look up. The truck came slow, its old engine rattling, coughing like it didn't want to be alive any more than I did. It rolled to a stop in front of me, tires crunching against gravel. A man leaned out the window. His face was sharp, all angles, with a mustache that twitched when he spoke. He looked tired, like he had spent too many years keeping things together with nothing but spit and duct tape. "You waitin' on a bus, boy?" I didn't answer. He let out a sigh, tapping his fingers on the truck door. "Ain't seen a bus come through here in a long time. Where's your folks?" Silence. The man studied me, eyes scanning the bag at my side, the book in my hands, the way I sat like I had nowhere else to be. He clicked his tongue. "Name's Drayton Sawyer. Most folks call me Cook. I run a little family business just down the road." I turned a page, pretending I wasn't listening. "Tell you what," he continued. "Ain't safe out here all alone. Why don't you come with me? Get something to eat, a place to sleep. Better than sittin' here all night, waitin' for nothin'. I hesitated. My fingers tightened around the book. I had walked for so long. My legs ached. My stomach twisted. I could keep going, keep walking into the dark, but, for how much longer? Slowly, I closed the book and slipped it into my bag. I stood, dusted off my jeans, and climbed into the truck without a word. The door creaked as it shut. Drayton gave a small smirk and pulled back onto the road. The truck rattled, the old radio spitting static. I said nothing the entire ride. The house smelled like grease, sweat, and something else underneath. Something raw. Metallic. I stepped inside, the floorboards groaning under my weight. The house was old, too old, like it had been standing for longer than it should have. The air was thick, like it had soaked up every word, every scream, and kept them trapped inside. I sat on the floor. No one told me to, but I did it anyway. I pulled my book from my bag and flipped to where I left off. Wendigo. A creature of endless hunger. It consumes and consumes, but it is never full. My fingers traced the illustration. Thin limbs, hollow eyes. A monster. Muffled voices drifted from the next room. "What we supposed to do with him? Ain't no normal kid. You think he's like us?" I tuned them out. I had heard voices like that before. Whispering, questioning. Trying to decide if I was something worth keeping, worth fearing. I turned the page. A shadow fell over my book. I looked up. A girl crouched in front of me. Younger than me. Maybe 4. Blonde hair tangled and wild. Dirt smudged on her face. Her grin was wide, full of crooked baby teeth. "Why ain't you talkin'?" she asked. I stared. She squinted at my book. "What ya readin'?" I didn't answer. She huffed, rocking back on her heels. "You dumb or somethin'?" I turned the page. She frowned. "You don't talk." Still nothing. Her eyes drifted down to the book. Her lips moved as she tried to sound out the words. 1D, go. She grinned. That's a funny word. She tapped her finger against the name, then pointed at me. If you won't tell us your name, I'll give you one. I blinked. You can be one, she said. Like the monster in your book. Before I could react, another voice cut in. Bobby, get away from him. I looked up. A man stood in the doorway. Tall, wary, a twisted grin spread across his face. He looked like he enjoyed breaking things just to hear them shatter. Ain't no tellin' what kind of freak he is, he sneered. My fingers tightened on my book. Bobby crossed her arms. He ain't a freak, he's my brother now. The man scoffed. Like hell he is. I didn't look away. No. The room went silent. I lifted my head, staring straight at him. I like that name. Something shifted in the air. The man, Hitch, tilted his head, studying me. Then he let out a dry chuckle, shaking his head as he walked off. Bobby grinned. See? Now you're one. One. It wasn't the name I was born with. It wasn't the name my mother whispered in soft lullabies, or the one my father called when it was time to come inside. But that boy, the one in the old family pictures, he wasn't me anymore. I wasn't him. I was something else now. Something with sharp teeth. Something always hungry. And now, I had a name for it. One.